Hello and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at a few of the Bitcoin mining stocks and the technical analysis on those miners. Let's start off with fear and greed. And because these are technically stocks, it's important to look at the stock market. And as you can see, it is still in the fear territory. And something else that's important to know because these are mining stocks is that you can look at the balance sheets for any of these and see if it has the data that you like. Over here, you can see I have cores pulled up, and we were talking about this in last week's live stream about the ratio from assets to liabilities, and that better stocks, you typically see a positive ratio, whereas cores isn't one of those stocks where you do have a positive ratio, even though it is the number three miner. That's not to say it can't run better than all the other miners during a bull market, during alt season. But during recessionary times, that is something to look for. And if you want to see a stock with a strong balance sheet, that's the way you can look those up. So let's go over to crypto fear and greed. And as you can see, it has dipped down into the high fear neutral territory recently. We are seeing somewhat of a level off. Overall, we've been talking about how we've seen this downtrend from greed to fear, and we are waiting for signs of a reversal. So maybe this bottoming off right here or leveling off might be a signal to us that we might see a reversal. You can see that as it was making lower lows last time, we were just getting these spikes down. It did come up. I was wondering here, are we possibly seeing a reversal? And obviously we know that answer now. But with where this is leveling off, who knows? Maybe something to look out for. As far as alt season and what we are looking for, as far as miners, as far as altcoins, very simply put, the last two cycles when Bitcoin topped, that's when we saw alt season. So to put it in another way, we have not gotten alt season until Bitcoin topped or was in the process of topping. We did not see that rotation because people no longer wanted to buy Bitcoin. It got to too expensive of a price. The Pi cycle top, all these other indicators. And so then there was that rotation. And that's when we saw altcoins and miners take off in the past. Also, keep in mind that during these times, as you see Bitcoin go down to supports around the 100-day moving average, the double top trend line from 2021, that these tend to be good dip buying opportunities until we get to the very top. And there's different indicators to look for. So in my opinion, I don't believe Bitcoin is at the top yet. I'm looking for it to get somewhere up in this rainbow chart into the orange bands, but just something to keep in mind. And as far as the alt season index, and yes, I'd throw miners in here, it is overall in an uptrend, and we are just at a higher low area. So I would not be shocked to see a reversal coming sometime soon. As we take a look over at Bitcoin, something that you'll see here, I tried to do my best to draw a trend line from the double top in 2021. But when we zoom in and we have our moving averages, let's zoom in on the daily, you can see that Bitcoin is right at two areas of support, that double top trend line from 21 and this 100-day moving average. Here's the 200. So some good supports right here, but if it breaks underneath, we have the 200 moving average at around 84K, and then not until the 50-week moving average down here at around 75K. We haven't even seen the 20 get hit yet, the 20-week moving average. So I'm not shocked to see if that happens. Usually anytime after a large spike up, it's okay and it's normal to see it level off around that 20-week moving average. So that's all right that happens, just something to look out for. All right, I figure in today's video, don't have as much time as last week to do a bunch of miners, but we'll go through the main ones. I'm thinking we'll do Mara, Riot, CleanSpark, Cypher, and Wolf. We'll do those 5 today. And if there's any that you really love and definitely want me to do, comment below. Also, comment below. I'm curious. if you are buying miners, why do you like them? And if you're not, why aren't you? And I'm not saying that as in any sort of a passive aggressive way. But if you don't like miners, I'm very curious why that is. What is not appealing about them to you? And if you do, why do you like them? So, anyways, let's get over to Mara. And overall, you can see this large wedge pattern. We have these higher lows, lower highs, but it's breaking underneath for sure right now. So we're waiting to see if this point 0.5 can hold up. Now, I myself personally, not you, but when I'm looking for times to dollar cost average in, because I do believe in alt season, and hopefully I'm right about that, I look at moving average and fib levels and buy signals as possibly areas to buy in. Now, right now, what do we see? We don't have a buy signal, but we do have this 0.5 fib level. So I don't mind dollar cost averaging here at around 16 bucks, as you can see. Now, if Mara's to get underneath that, then you could possibly look for a next major area of support at around $11. Now, for more confirmation indicators like buy signals, we also have the stochastic RSI. You can see this one, it is way down there. It is deep. So you might wait until this flips positive and that blue gets above the orange before buying in, because technically this could turn into a falling knife and it could go lower. We have these recent dips down here between 14.70 all the way to 13 bucks. So if it did get down there, then that wouldn't be out of the question as far as what the stochastic is showing us. So that's another indicator to look for as far as the MACD. Is it flipping positive? Not quite yet. So we have a couple indicators, confirmation indicators, along with the buy signal to say, maybe this is close to a bottom here. And when I DCA, I'm looking for a collection of bottoms, not just the bottom, because it's really hard to do. But I like this level as a discount personally. So you can wait for confirmation with those other indicators as well. Let's go over to Riot and Riot platforms. So overall, in this channel, but you do see so far that the 100-week moving average, the 50-week, and the 382 fib are holding up on the weekly. It's still somewhat higher in its channel, so if it breaks down, it could get down to these $7 levels. Now, I like Riot a lot, where if it got down there again, I would be buying more like last time. So just something to watch for. You can see that in the past few days, the 50-day moving average, it wasn't able to hold, and it has come down to this deep support. So kind of like Mara, if you were buying the moving average and the fib level and a collection of bottoms, I wouldn't blame you. But on the weekly, it's going to show the same thing as Mara, that we just don't have that confirmation yet. And so, that's up to you. You can see here, this, in my opinion, can still level off a bit before going back up. So play this one at your own risk. I would not be surprised to see it go lower. And if you don't care, you feel you're pinching pennies, then again, I'm not saying this is not or that this is a bad area to DC. I think these are fine discount levels. And should we get alt season again, and should these run again like they have before, then you'll be happy whether you got it here, here, here. All things to keep in perspective. All right, let's do Clean Spark, Iron. Let's do Clean Spark, Iron, and Cypher. Let's do that. Maybe I can get to Wolf. All right, so Clean Spark. As far as Clean Spark goes, this one's underneath its weekly moving averages. And you can see with these Heikin-Ashi candles, yes, there are wicks up here, but what do you see? There are sellers coming in. So we do have this trend line. It has held before as far as the higher lows, but we saw what happened to Mara. So anywhere around this trend line, around the mid-high $9 mark, down to the 0.5 at around 870, good discount territory. I do think this could still go lower, but we do have these higher lows, and this is one of those higher lows. So you might look at my trend line and say, well, is that absolutely perfect? Can it move up a little bit, connect more with those points back here? And as you can see, when we do that, then it is on that trend line. So if you like the trend line and you're willing to buy that dip, that's fine. But if it does get lower, and then to 870, that would be an area to look for. As far as iron limited, you can see that 786, it's being challenged again, but it may come back down. As far as the other larger miners are doing that as well. So this 200-day moving average, it was a good area to buy, as well as that trend line that we've been following forever on the weekly. No doubt that's probably a buy signal there. And yep, we have a weekly buy signal. Again, I use this with Heikin-Ashi candles because we try to capture the trend. Now, overall, this does get in on the trends, but as you can see, sometimes it doesn't. I'd say with recent history, it is sort of flipping sideways, and that 786, it has presented problems. So I would be leaning towards, if I had to guess, that in another week or so, we may see this flip back down, and you could try to get that 50-week moving average. By the way, look how much that got bought up. So yeah, I don't know if I'm taking that buy signal too seriously. Let's do Cypher and Wolf, and we'll call it a day. Cypher and Wolf. And so for Cypher, this is another buy signal on this one. Now, we talked about how it got to the 0.65, and look at how all that was bought up. The 200, the 50, the 100, the 0.65 fib. It was bought up nicely. But that 786 fib, just like iron, has presented problems in the past. So on the daily, when you zoom in on Cypher, that recent peak, it has come back down. So see what it does here on the 50-day moving average, and whether or not it's able to hold that support or go right through. And you can see last two times it went all the way back down to the 200. So that $5 to 420 area would be areas to watch out for. And lastly, finishing off with the Wolf. And as far as Wolf goes, it is at that 0.5, part of the 200-day moving average, and it's probably near the 50-week moving average, because that's usually not too far. And would you look at that? So the 50-week and the 100-week getting bought up. You see those strong wicks getting bought up off the 0.5 and the 50-week. So this is possibly sending up a base here, unless it does another wave down. But overall, last time it got to the 100-week moving average and the 50-week, I mean, look at that. It was bought up, and then we went up from those levels 150%. So could this possibly be a base that's forming? If you like Wolf, again, I think as far as looking at the supports, the fibs, moving averages, that's telling us, hey, not a bad area to DCA. We don't have a buy signal yet, but with the buy signals, you're not going to catch it as close to the bottom, but you do get confirmation. So it depends on your strategy. But you can see here, recent flip up, price was a little higher, came back down, but as it's chopping down here, you can see in the past, as it chopped down here, wasn't the worst time the dollar cost average. Again, this could go lower for sure, but if Bitcoin stabilizes around that 100-day moving average and the trend line I was talking about before, could be a good dollar cost average opportunity. However, if Bitcoin were to break that support at around 93, 94K, of course you could see all these go lower. And so that's why part of my strategy is, if I am dollar cost averaging here and it does go lower, that's okay. I am going to then look at buying in more at the next level. And if the assets overall are turning bearish, I've shown you how you can use more confirmation indicators if those dips are too much on you emotionally and mentally. So you got to have a strategy that plays to your strengths. And if buying these dips is too emotional for you, then I would say go buy more of the confirmation indicators we talked about. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video and that you have a fantastic Wednesday. Take care and have a wonderful day.